Hey, what's going on, my friends, and welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Victor, and today I'm going to share with you 5 things I think you should know about this serious super full moon on August 11th, 2022. Number 1 is more of a tip, something I've learned throughout many years of being in touch with the fact that these full moons do oftentimes have a very powerful and positive influence in our life. Number 1 is staying in your own frame. And I say this because I noticed so many, not to seem like I'm bad-mouthing anybody, but it seems like there's a lot of astrologers saying that this is gonna be a tough one. Get ready, brace yourself, because this is gonna be a serious, sort of challenging full moon. And I was on my couch yesterday, kind of bored and kind of, going through my phone. And things are good in my life, and I happened to see one of those videos, and all of a sudden I started to get concerned, well, what's gonna happen? And so I started scanning my life, what could possibly go wrong? What's not feeling safe and intact that I need to be on guard about? And then I realized, oh, Victor, you don't do this, bro. This is something you gave up long ago. Years ago, I used to be the guy frantically looking to the latest blog article about the current energies for solutions or guidance, and not that there's anything wrong with that, but when things were hopeful and good, I was good. And when things were, the astrology was predicting challenges, I would get worried. And guess what? I would most likely, from that state, manifest challenges. Is it because of the astrology or because of me? I don't know, but what I've learned is that no thing, no force, no influence in my life is stronger and greater than myself. My attitude. This is something we always have control over. And what I invite you to do is take this as an opportunity to find out places in your life that you, like I was yesterday, giving your power away. Another way I do it, it could be simple things. I have this thing on my wrist, I've talked about it, it's called a Whoop. It tracks my vitals, it tracks my sleep quality, and every day I wake up to a score, which is either green, yellow, or red. Red meaning bad, yellow in the middle, green, good, in terms of many different factors influencing my rest, the state of sleep. And sometimes I would find I'd wake up feeling really good, man, I slept great, and I'd go over to my phone and I'd see, it's red. Jeez, I thought I was in such a good space. And all of a sudden, because I see it's red, what happens is I start to notice, wow. Yeah, you are a little fatigued now that I think about it. Maybe you're not as rested as you thought. And all of a sudden, it could spoil my day. And that's not to say, bury your head in the sand and discount information coming at you. But it is to say, remain in your own power, remain in your own frame, because you are the creator of your own reality. And even if a challenge does come your way, so what? It's not the first time. You'll grow from it, you'll evolve. There's always a worthwhile benefit to any challenge, but regardless, it doesn't do us any good to worry about it in the moment. Number 2, if you ask me, what I feel is the most prominent theme about this full moon is leveling up. Any area of your life this could pertain to. It could pertain to your health, the way your self-care is, the way you treat your body, the amount of sleep you get, the foods you eat, the amount of exercise you do. It could have a lot to do with your business, your vocation, your work, where you're putting a lot of energy into your creative expression. Maybe there's a smarter, wiser, more calculated, more evolved way of doing it that all of a sudden is coming in to your awareness. It could be within probably for a lot of you, it'll have to do with your relationships. A lot of times relationships are a great catalyst for growth and change, and they may demand you level up. It's something I've discussed very openly in the past year with my wife and I. We constantly are finding ourselves more and more intolerant of one another's ego drama. And we're neither of us are putting up with it, and therefore we're voicing it, we're demanding it, and we're sort of casting the burden onto each other to grow, to evolve. Could be with that. And a lot of times when there is an opportunity within your life to upgrade, it comes in the form of almost like a accentuated consequence for doing something out of alignment. For example, let me try to think of an example actually. I would find that for a lot of my YouTube career, I was always almost like running on adrenaline, running on this high I would get from filming videos, like this channeling sort of spiritual type of high that was in itself productive and effective, but over the course of time, it started to kind of burn me out and wear on my adrenals, and I would find myself just really wound up all the time. And even though it was fine and necessary for a time, it wasn't bad. I needed to have a lot of output at a certain time in my life. When it came time where I didn't need to work so hard and I was able to kind of shift gears and relax and reap the rewards of all my hard work, I found myself so patterned in a certain way of going through life that I wasn't able to let it go. So what happened is I started getting really tired. In fact, this is something I'm going through right now, honestly, trying to figure out what is the balanced amount of content and expression and videos, in a sense, I put out. What I've noticed recently, in fact, this happened to me like a week ago in Costa Rica, is I had a great day and I did one live coaching session, and then just after that one session, I found myself just exhausted, really spent. And it makes sense for me because I'm such a kind of an introverted guy, believe it or not. So I don't say a lot in social situations. I do talk, but not as much as a lot of my people I'm around. So when I condense all of my energy in one hour of constant talking, it's not bad or good, but it has an effect. And I found myself getting more tired a week ago, and it made me realize that I need to make a change. I was able to get away with this sort of sloppy usage of my finite energy up until now. Now it's becoming a problem. My kids want to swim in the pool. Dad's too tired. I can't. I have to rest. Now it's a problem. But it's not a problem. That's the whole point of this. It's not a problem. It's an opportunity to say, listen, you don't have to work so hard. There's a better way of doing something, whether, again, it's your relationship, your careers, whatever. Just the way you go about your day-to-day business. You might find there's smarter ways to go about it. It's all about yielding to the most synchronistic and aligned way of going about every area of our life right now. The full moon is like a spotlight shining down on anything you're doing that is inefficient compared to how you could be doing it. And if you choose to look at it this way, you might find that you're able to upgrade and improve a lot of areas of your life, freeing up time and space and energy, and maybe going deeper with some of the aspects of your life that you do like when you start to declutter some of the stuff that doesn't need to be there anymore. You might also find that through these relationship evolutions, we'll call them, you are able to experience deeper love, more trust, more harmony within your relationship. So it's an amazing moon, in my opinion. Number 3, you might find yourself very, very connected to the other side, to your own divine guidance, especially when things are kind of rocky in the world. I find that to the degree in which I need it is the degree in which I experience more of a clear guidance. And I'm not saying you're going to need it, but I'm saying that during full moons, regardless, you are generally more connected to the non-physical aspects of reality. And I've talked about this before. Just last night, what sort of sparked this is my dog once again came to me in a dream. His name was Maynard. He was a pit bull. I loved him dearly, and he died sort of tragically when he was 6 years old, and I've missed him. And it's almost, this is just my own perception, but what I feel, it's gonna sound kind of crazy, I feel like after he passed, which was maybe 10 years ago, he went on and had another life. And then I think he died again, and now he's back on the other side. And now he's making his presence known to me in dreams, where he just comes up to me in the dreams and licks me, and I pet him, and I wake up feeling his presence. And it's so beautiful, and this could all very much be in my head, but to me, the feeling of that presence is no different than when he was alive. It's the same kind of thing, but I don't always have access to the essence of deceased loved ones. But during certain full moons, I really do. And I think you might as well. And if not deceased loved ones, that's sort of specific to me, I admit. It could be with your own intuition, your own divine inspiration. You might find your higher self is able to communicate with you way more clearly, where you're like, wow, not only do I hear you loud and clear, buddy, but it feels so real, it feels so right. And right now is an amazing time to really like write that stuff down, journal it down, ground it in, because we're still evolving. We're still going through these very multifaceted phases of consciousness evolution, and there are times where we are more connected to the other side, and then times where it benefits us when we're not. So what I like to do is, when I am connected, is to write it down, to ground it in, to make it really embedded in my belief structure that this other side really is real. Number 4, I wrote down, and I'll explain it, don't worry, it won't make any sense in the beginning, but I wrote down the how. This is what I really believe a lot of the astrologers are kind of referring to when they predict challenging times, the how. What I mean by that is, when I run coaching sessions, sometimes I will help the clients set inspired goals. And what I do exactly is I play some cool music, and I get them into a good state of being, like we'll do some yoga or something, and I'll say, okay, class, I want you to write down everything you want to experience, accomplish, or become in the next 10 years of your life. And they're in this fired up state, and I say to them, don't worry about how. Worry about the what. What do you want to do? Do you want to travel? Do you want to write a book? Do you want to have a family? Meet your soulmate? What? And I say, keep it separate. There's a time for the how, but in this state, focus on what. Because when we start to combine them, then we start to really reduce what we're capable of dreaming and creating in our life. Now, with all that said, what I feel like a lot of people might find themselves focused on, which is an equal and relevant variable, it is the how. It is the how. How? What are the details? You might find yourself contemplating these because they are important. They're both important. Now, what comes to mind is that it's fresh in my mind, but I just got back from Costa Rica a couple days ago. We ran a plant medicine retreat, and we've done this many times. And usually, because we're in Nosara, Costa Rica, which is a very high vibe and beautiful place, just in the jungle, basically, in the mountains, the jungle, the monkeys and birds, and it's amazing. And we're all, me and my soul family, we're all drinking plant medicine. By the end of that week retreat, we are flying high. We are just connected, and we've gone through so much growth. And from that spiritual high, a lot of times we have these really good ideas, and they feel so real, and they feel so right in the moment. And then we used to make the mistake of taking action on them right away from that high frequency state. And then we run into big problems because we didn't really take the time to hash out the necessary details. For example, one time, me and my friend Aaron, we are like, man, he's a YouTuber as well. Most of you know him, Aaron Dowdy. We do kind of the same thing. One time in Costa Rica, after plant medicine, we were like, dude, we should just combine our businesses. We should combine everything we do because it'll be bigger, it'd be more fun, and it seemed like a brilliant idea at the time. But then once we went back, we came back to Austin where we lived, and we started to truly merge our things. We ran into so many freaking problems. We realized we can't do this. We're both kind of need our freedom and autonomy and our creative freedom. And we had a lot of conflict as we tried to rush into things without taking time to really consider, how is this going to affect this area of my life? If I do this, how will it impact this person? How will it affect my health, my life, etc.? So you might find yourself taking time to really chew on some of the details that are in relation to a big positive move you want to make. And they're important as well. And finally, number 5, I believe the true underlying outcome of this entire full moon and its influence is positive change. Positive change. Now, positive change doesn't always seem positive in the moment, even though it is. And I'll give an example. I remember a few years ago only, I was in Sedona with my crew. We just got done running an amazing retreat. It was our Sedona retreat. It was probably like our 8th or 10th one. In this one particular house, we used to use this big Airbnb, and we did so many retreats there at this Airbnb. We had it all dialed in. We had like our system in place, and it had finally become kind of effortless in a sense. And anyway, we are like basking in the glow of this retreat, about to check out of the house. All the guests had left. And my friend Josh, who helps me with the retreats, he said, "Hey Vic, did you see that this house is on the market?" And I was like, no, what are you talking about, bro? He said, "Yeah, it's for sale. Go look on Zillow." Come to find it is. I had just put down a big deposit to rent out the house, and here it is for sale. Problem. The retreats, they were a big part of my livelihood. It seemed so perfect, and all of a sudden, this little safety net of ours was completely unstable. And I reached out to the Airbnb owner, and I said, "What is this I see about your house being on the market?" And they said, "Oh yeah, it is." Oh man, what a problem. Jeez. Well, what happened was that forced us to upgrade, and we did. They did sell the house, and we had to find a different Airbnb, and we found this one called the Dome House. Maybe you've seen it on my advertisements when I would do it there. And this Dome House was like triple the size. It had like 20 beds. It was like so cool. It was right by the creek, and it was a million times better for running retreats. And we finally did our first retreat there a few years ago, and we were like, oh my God, what an upgrade. This is so much better on all levels for the participants, for us. Oh, we loved it. And then, after a couple years of doing retreats there, we found our place. It's fantastic. We're good. We can relax. And then this last August, we did a retreat there, and they were having a lot of the fires there in Sedona. And it was so smoky, you couldn't really even safely go outside that much, let alone go on hikes. All the hikes were closed. Oh my goodness, there's people coming in from all over the world. We have this retreat, we can't go on the hikes. Problem. Another benefit. What we realize in not going on the hikes is we like the retreats way better not taking 25 people on Bell Rock, which was a lot of anxiety for me, hoping no one got hurt. And the hikes we found exhausted people. And then they would have no energy for all the other stuff we did. So this lack of hiking, which seemed like a problem, gave us this sort of opportunity to run our retreats in kind of a different way. And what we found is we like it way better, and they're way deeper and way more powerful. And that eventually evolved us to where we do them now, which is at a big retreat center in Sedona. The point is, all these massive upgrades that affect not just me, but my crew and all the guests, a lot of people, they came about initially as what seemed like a problem, which was really a blessing in disguise. The universe saying, hey, it's time to move on and do things much better. It's time to upgrade. So now we're gonna burn the bridge for you so you can't cling to the old like we know you'd like to do. It ain't gonna work. And when the bridge is burned, you have no choice but to look at other options, and then you get to upgrade yourself. And sometimes change happens even more smoothly than that, but the point is, expect. If you want to listen to me and listen to someone saying what to expect, I say expect positive change this full moon. Expect yourself to demand more of yourself within your life and your relationships. Expect more harmony, more growth, more depth, more love, more purpose. That is what I predict, my friends. Take it for what you will. Don't listen to me. Don't take it on blind faith. You come into your own power.